It's Thursday night, February 9th. God's the greatest because we are here live. I got a lot of people on set.
All Brooklyn fans are the mom from Home Alone.
Kevin! Where the party at? Where the party at? Where the party at? You know I can't forget to wash my hands.
Action. Can you get up my face? I'm on the potty.
B. Brickle. It's Thursday, and it's late night on the RBC Network. We're on the potty, baby. A lot to talk about tonight. NBA trade deadline action today. Mando's in Phoenix.
Racking up those airline miles.
Brian, are you on a diet?
What's up, fellas? It's Thursday night on the potty. How's it going?
Thursday night on the potty.
The Super Bowl special.
The weekend's coming up. You know, a lot of events are happening. I'm feeling loose. I'm feeling good. Just got a workout in. Man, let's get it.
Before we get into a little Super Bowl preview from Mando Madness, I want to go over the day. We had an incredible day in the NBA with the trade deadline. I just want to ask you both, what were your favorite NBA trades for the day or acquisitions? You got Kevin going to the Suns. We had John Wall going to the Rockets. Does that leave an opening for Russ on the Clippers? We have Pat Bev leaving the Lakers. I think outright for Mo Bamba. We have Gary Payton Jr. coming back to the Warriors. We have Luke Kennard, which I think is a sleeper, going to Memphis, the lefty shooter. We have Kevin Knox going to the Warriors. Josh Hart to the Knicks. Mason Plumlee to the Clippers.
Where did Mikal go?
What about D'Lo going back to LA?
We have D'Angelo Russell going back to LA. We have Mikal Bridges, Brooklyn tonight.
Besides being a Kevin Durant fan, obviously I'm a LeBron guy too, but I'm honestly happy that Chris Paul's going to have his best shot at finally getting himself a ring, more than anyone else.
Yeah.
I said this earlier, that this is his last shot, bro. He's on his way out. He doesn't have much longer.
This is his best chance to do it.
Yeah.
And not throwing shade on Kevin Durant or anything, but he's not that LeBron, that Jordan, that Kobe type leader. And he's got that in Phoenix. And he had that in Golden State where he prospered. And in Phoenix, he has the leader, which is CP3. He's got another shooter in Devin Booker who could get a bucket. You got a big man in 8, and everyone's going to say, oh, if he wins the legacy, this and that. But still got to get it done. And everyone knows how hard it is to win in championships, whatever the sport may be. But I think he's got a good shot there. And I'm liking what the Lakers are doing. I think they can make some noise. Who knows? Can never count LeBron out in a 7-game series. You got to beat that guy 4 times. It's not like it's an NFL playoff game where it's one and done, or the college ball where it's one and done. Like, never know what could happen in a 7-game series.
Do you think the Suns' offense will be good enough to handle teams like Celtics, Milwaukee Bucks? Teams that have been playing together well for
they got to get out the West first.
I was just going to say that. Besides those teams, they got to worry about that deep West right now. That's
right.
That Western Conference is no joke.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we've seen talent like that in a very long time in one conference.
I think this is the best the NBA has ever been.
I think it's either the East. It's either going to be Celtics or Bucks versus a crapshoot in the West. Whoever's hot and healthy, that's who's gonna make the run and get to the finals.
I'm just looking forward to watch these NBA playoffs. It's going to be amazing to watch. Some great names in the West, some great teams on the East. Kyrie had his debut in the Mavs. How do you look in that jersey to you guys?
He looked good, bro. I saw one clip of them in practice, and he looks fired up, bro. He looks.
There's like a rejuvenation. I saw that. Yeah, there's like a new energy around him.
He threw an alley to one of the, I forget who, but threw an alley in practice. They were all hyped up. I think he's ready to go, man. I think he's excited to be in a new environment. I feel like Brooklyn was weighing on him, all that that bad energy over there, and now he's all the way across the country in Texas. So I think it's gonna be good for him. It's gonna give him new life.
Did you see him walk home from the game last night?
No, I didn't see that. What happened?
Well, it's not. He was just like walking, interacting with fans and stuff.
I've been in Dallas personally, and it's a fantastic city. Like, it's beautiful, like people, great culture, great food. I really think they're gonna have. I don't know if not this year, but in the years coming up, I think they're gonna have a good shot to win a championship.
Well, that's the big question. How do they do this year? And depending on how they do this year, is it contingent upon their success if
Does he
Kyrie
even stay?
in LA? Right. And Brian, to your point, being in Dallas, you can see his face, his body language. There's a new energy around Kyrie. It's cool to see because I'm just a fan of the game. The West is awesome. The East is awesome. The NBA playoffs is going to be awesome. And before we move on from the NBA, I have to ask you guys too, when LeBron got his go-ahead point for the all-time leading scorer, during that possession, literally during the shot, ended up sitting down. And that was Anthony Davis. And there was video
Well,
here.
he
that
didn't
will
want to
show.
he didn't want to get hurt standing up too quick. He had to chill out. He had to sit on the bench for a little bit. He has to take his time getting up before, that's what the trainers have told him.
But did it
I
look
heard
odd
that.
to you, Mando? Like, what was that? Was it like someone said, oh, he wanted to absorb the
I
environment.
heard
He
that
wanted to
there
be
was a
immersed.
big argument between the coach and Russell Westbrook at halftime, and there was a lot of rift in the locker room, and that had something to do with Anthony Davis not standing, or I don't know the correlation between the two because it doesn't seem like he was involved, but there's also probably a side to the story that not everyone is being told, but it just seemed like something happened in that halftime and it rubbed off on him some sort of way.
Well, let me just take a guess. I mean, they were losing to a young Oklahoma City Thunder team. No one had double digits at half except for LeBron. I'd be frustrated too. I'm 38 years old in my 20th season, and maybe that was the sentiment. I'm guessing, but to see AD literally sit down during that possession, like almost as if like, yeah, he might not even make the shot, and then boom, he makes the shot, and we have a video of him sitting down. It just didn't look optics.
One thing that didn't, besides the AD thing, that didn't sit right with me is as soon as he hit that, I didn't see LeBron go up to any of his teammates and celebrate, or any of his teammates go up to him.
It was
Now
a
I'm
lot
a
of
Yankee
family.
guy, I'm an Aaron Judge guy. As soon as that guy hit 62, that entire bench was out of the dugout, waiting for that man to touch home plate and congratulate him and give him his flowers. So where were the rest of the Lakers players? Why were they waiting for it? Just even after when he gave him like high fives and shit, it just didn't seem truly genuine with the record and what he just accomplished. Like if that's my teammate, as soon as he hits that, I'm giving him a hug. Like, kidding me? I'm going to battle with this guy every night or every other night.
I think it's because LeBron, he's not really like a teammate. He's more of like the GM of the Lakers. He's more of the head
I get
coach.
that, but
And he's the guy that makes the decisions. And I don't think he's really ever that close to any of his teammates because he's the one that's going to trade him out.
I feel like if it was the Miami team or the Cleveland team, it would have been a complete different outcome with the way his teammates would have came off that bench. Or the guys on the court.
I mean, they might have been hearing like trade talks before that game too. So I don't know if AD was in any talks. I don't know.
Yeah.
I knew Russ was definitely in a lot of talks, but maybe AD's name was being thrown around there too, just because of all his injuries and the way he's been playing. And I mean, it could have been a possibility.
Yeah, and you mix in there losing to an Oklahoma City Thunder team. Who knows? Frustration. He's the all-time leading scorer, but just some NBA reaction.
I can't believe the NBA surpassed NFL in Super Bowl weekend today. Like, is it a coincidence that the trade deadline was the same weekend? Maybe, maybe not.
I don't see the Grizzlies as a championship team yet. I feel like they need
not anymore.
One big piece to that team.
I feel like they talk way too much. Talk way too much. They let their mouths talking and not the game. Like you're not a champion. You never even been to a championship.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't mind the talking. I like the energy. Listen, NBA teams have been talking. Pistons.
But you can't call yourself a dynasty when you haven't even made a finals.
Yeah, I mean, listen. Yeah, they talk a lot of stuff. They talk their shit. They need to back it up. But I just feel like they need to add one big piece to that team, and they could be a dangerous team.
Yeah,
but,
definitely.
I mean, to you guys, who do you think was who's the top winner of the trade, and who's the worst?
The top has to be the Suns because you got arguably one of the best players in the game when healthy. And I think the biggest losers is the Brooklyn Nets. You had 3 probably future Hall of Famers in Harden, Kyrie, and KD,
Yeah.
and you didn't even get one All-Star in return for any of those guys.
Mm. Yeah, I don't know.
One
Man.
guy on that team's an All-Star. Spencer
The-
Dinwiddie's got game, respectable. Mikal Bridges, great defensive player, but
I think the headlines start with the Lakers too. I think the Lakers are a clear winner of the day, along with Phoenix. I agree. A big loser right along the side of Brooklyn, Miami made 0 transactions, no noise out of Miami. But I just feel like it was odd. Miami didn't make any noise. I mean, the Bucks and Celtics are set in stone, so I didn't see them needing anybody. But all the contenders, Lakers, Warriors, Suns, they made moves. Memphis, they made moves.
I don't think the Nuggets made any moves, did they? They're the one seed, right?
The Nuggets are set in stone too a little bit. I feel like the Nuggets got there now that Jamal Murray's back. I feel
I've
like
been waiting for them to get healthy too, because I've wanted to see Jokic make a nice deep run.
It was awesome day, honestly, and we're hyped to cover it on the pod.
Speaking of the Lakers' 2 pickups, it just so happened to be that those 2 guys, they were supposed to play in the Savage softball games in the fall.
Shout out to the Savages, baby.
That's not even like that's the truth. Like D'Angelo Russell was ready to play softball on our team that one time in the offseason, and Mo Bamba was ready too.
What happened?
Yeah, it was a rainout.
Wow.
Yep.
What position would you have put him at?
I would have put him in right field or something. He'd be robbing home runs over the berries.
You never know who's gonna join the party. But let's segue away from NBA, but let's continue in this sports talk and let's bring up the weekend. Mando, does week 17 play a factor of how the trade deadline lined up with the Super Bowl? And what do you think about the Super Bowl? Give us your thoughts. Mando Madness here on a Thursday party, giving us his Super Bowl preview, his Super Bowl madness.
So let's just start with first topic. I'll ask you both, and then I'll give my input. If the Chiefs win on Sunday, does that put them in the dynasty category? Have they entered the dynasty? And I'll follow up on it. And where does that a Super Bowl win besides the Chiefs separately? Where does it put Patty Mahomes in the top 5 quarterback ranking? If so, even in the top 5.
Yeah, I think Patty is becoming like Brady in a sense where I'm having trouble betting against him. And I said the Eagles from week 1 were elite. I used the E word, elite. And the Eagles proved me right up until now. I'm getting nervous. Like my mind says, no, you can't bet against Patty. But my
He's
heart
a little dinged up though, no?
Say again?
He is a little dinged up though, right?
But in all fairness, I think everyone's a little dinged up. Jalen Hurts has got the messed up shoulder too. There's no one that's playing right now that's 100%.
I think they're popping pain pills before the game.
Of course they are.
Got a Super Bowl. Come on.
But Mahomes, ever since he's entered the NFL and he didn't play that first year, whatever, they kept him on the side. But ever since he started, he's been in minimum of AFC championships every single year, 5 years.
Tell me a little bit about Patty Mahomes' style.
But what makes him so elite is around this time of the year, that's when you'll see him making those extra plays outside the pocket, scrambling, making those plays where it's a throwaway, a sack, or nothing happens. He's the one that makes something happen. And that's what separates him from the rest, in my opinion.
Now, let me piggyback on what you just said, though, because I think this is what makes this weekend so interesting because, like you mentioned, Jalen's a little banged up with his shoulder, but he has his legs. Patty, high ankle sprain, we know as athletes, doesn't go away. I don't care how much weeks go by, 1, 2, 3 weeks.
I agree.
You go roll out the pocket one play. You try to get that extra yard on that one time. You re-aggravate something, Brian. You understand that high ankle is no joke. So on one end, Jalen doesn't have 100% of his shoulder, maybe, but he has his legs. And on the other hand, Patty has his arm, but doesn't have 100% of his legs, maybe.
It is Jalen's throwing shoulder, though?
Yeah, it's his right shoulder.
That's tough. That's tough. I think that's worse than an ankle.
Especially that he's a runner, but yeah. But one thing that Patty Mahomes is going against is he's going against a team that absolutely took out 2 quarterbacks in the same game on the 49ers. The Eagles defense, way more physical team. They're going to their job essentially is to make this guy uncomfortable as much as possible and disrupt his play. Because if you do that, most likely that confetti coming down will be green, black, and white.
So it's Chiefs' best offense versus the best defense.
I got one even better for you. It's the best quarterback versus the best team.
Because don't
Patty
forget,
Mahomes and the Eagles have the best team, and everyone's been saying that all year round that the Eagles are the best team.
So we'll really see how important a great quarterback.
Yeah, that's what I'm interested to see. Is it the quarterback or is it the team?
Mm.
and Mano brings up a good point. He made sure he clarified they have the best quarterback, not the best offense, because I think the Eagles just put 30 points on the best defense in the league. You can't gloss over that either.
But going back to that, I don't think the Eagles have, listen, your schedule, you can't change. You just got to go out and face the opponents you face and execute. But if you go look at the Eagles' last maybe handful, 7 to 8 games, the only quarterbacks noteworthy are, and I'm a Cowboy fan, Dak's average, Dak and Aaron Rodgers. Dak hung up 40 on him and Aaron Rodgers hung up 33. So they haven't seen and Aaron Rodgers had an off year. And I don't think they've seen an animal like Patty Mahomes. So I'm interested what that's going to be. And as I segue into team versus offense, Patrick Mahomes was first team All-Pro. Jalen Hurts, second team All-Pro. And every other time that's happened in the Super Bowl, the second team All-Pro, whatever quarterback it is, teams always won. Last time, Brady 2016, Drew Brees 2009, and there's several other ones we're dating back to the 1990s now, but I just gave the last 2 relevant ones.
Is that a little chip on the shoulder, a little extra fire?
Maybe. And another thing is it might be coming out any minute now, but whoever wins MVP usually never wins the Super Bowl either. At another stat/trend. So
yeah,
teams that have the quarterback with number 1 passing yards, Patrick Mahomes, going against, like in the Super Bowl, 0-6. That team. Last time it happened, when when Tom Brady played the Eagles and lost that Super Bowl. And a random trend. I'm sure people have seen it on the web, the internet, TikTok, this and that. But the last 18 Super Bowls, the team wearing white jerseys, 15 wins, 15-3.
Mando bringing the crazy facts today.
Maybe I got a little something. I got some more stuff cooked up in the chamber too. So the head ref, Carl Sheffers.
Let me hear some gambling talk.
I'll get to that. Carl Sheffers, his 3rd Super Bowl, Kansas City 8-2 straight up. Eagles 6-8 straight up. The last 12 games, this guy's done playoff games. The under 11-1. Dogs 42-24 against the spread, 63%.
Talk to
So
him.
a lot of these trends points towards this, but I feel like more are pointing towards Philly.
So my sports betting question for you guys: how do we like the over? I think it's at 49.5. Do we pound the over and leave the winner up to chance? Because I think these juggernaut offenses, these 2 quarterbacks at least can put up.
I see the game getting into the 50s,
which would be an over.
Yeah, possibly, maybe we might skim the 60s.
Hey, that's a big time over if I ever heard one. So that might be a play. And you heard it here first. Late nights on the RBC Network. You have more stats for us, Mano, for this weekend, for this Sunday. Take us through your madness.
Nothing numerical, but I do have some personal X factors in the game. My one biggest thing is I think the game will be won in the trenches, whatever side of the ball that is, Philly on offense or defense, regardless. But one of my biggest questions is how the Kansas City offensive line will hold up against the Philly defensive line. So now if you go back to when Kansas City played the Buccaneers in the Super Bowl, their offensive line was weak, and that's what they improved on that offseason. And Patty Mahomes was very uncomfortable, did not have a good game. He went 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. And my issue is that he eats up the blitz, but Philly doesn't need to blitz because they have such a powerful pass rush. 70 sacks on the year, which is second or third to that Bears team of 85 Bears. That was one of the best defensive teams in NFL history.
Yeah.
So if they could hold up, Eagles might be in trouble. But if they can't, Mahomes and KC is going to be in trouble.
And that's why this money line is so close. That's why the spread is so close. These are two really good teams. I think the NFL got it right this year. I think these are the two best teams in the league. And we're in for a really, really, really good weekend. Mando, anything else?
So another thing is if you're how would KC beat this Philly team? So up front, you're not going to beat them with the run, in my opinion. So you have to beat them on the back end, the linebackers, the defensive backs. So I expect Kelce to have a big game. And if not him, because if you're scheming this team up, you got to say, I can't have this guy Kelce beat me. So you got to double him. You got to take him out of the game. So if they go that route, I expect McKinnon or Kadarius Toney to have a bigger game.
I think that Philly is good enough to just rush 4, take away Kelce, and leave it up to Mahomes.
Drop back 7. That's what I'm saying.
They're good on every level, man. Up front, their linebackers, their secondary. This is going to be a great game, honestly.
The only thing is that their linebackers are small. They're not big boys. So that's why I think Kelce could potentially have his way with them if played and called right. And then my last X factor of the game is can KC stop Philly's run? So you have to make them one-dimensional. You got to force Jalen Hurts to throw the ball, and you cannot let that read option or that run game get going, because once it does, I don't think they can be stopped.
Hey, one thing for certain, Donna Kelce is going to be a winner. Either way, we got a Kelce winning this game this weekend.
The Kelce Bowl.
And my last question for the Super Bowl: what's the first Rihanna song getting played on Super Bowl Sunday? What do you think? I'll take you around right now. What's the first?
Oh nah, what's my name? Oh,
live at the Mercy. What's the first Rihanna song getting played this weekend?
I'm gonna go Pon the replay.
That's a goodie.
What do you think, guys?
That's our first song ever.
Talk about
You
it.
need something to get the crowd going, which I think that could be it.
That was our first song 15 years ago.
Listen, I'm going. At first, I liked Rude Boy, but I think what you came for, that's a sleeper.
I'm going with. I agree with Shay on that. I do like that, just because I feel like that's a nice throwback. Gets the will get the crowd going, but I definitely do think Umbrella will definitely be in that set somehow.
Diamond sounds great though.
Diamonds is good too.
Sounds great. That's another great.
Brian, what's Rihanna opening with this halftimes?
I think I'm gonna agree. I think I'm gonna go with Umbrella.
Opening with Umbrella?
I got the inside information. Nah, but you guys got me super excited to watch this football game. I'm not gonna lie. Usually when I go to Super Bowl parties, I'm talking to people, I'm having a blast, but I think I'm gonna be locked in on this game.
Okay.
This Super Bowl weekend,
Right.
we have Rihanna performing live.
Right.
What's the first song she opens with during the halftime show? If you had a guess.
I am gonna do a curveball. I think Drake's gonna come out with her and they're gonna do one of their songs together.
Drake comes
Oh
out.
nah. What's my name? That one?
Wow.
That one?
You're a legend.
100%.
You're a legend.
It sounds like she has the inside information.
Wow.
She's got no fucking clue.
It's
It's Rihanna's show. She ain't sharing the first song with the guy.
You heard it here first. Because
said
that's what it's
curveball.
about on the
She's
potty.
a curveball, more like a screwball.
A little lay, nothing crazy juice, just something to tie you into the game. My personal, if I had to make some bets, my best bets, I'm going to take a Kelce anytime touchdown. And then depending on how confident you are in KC, either take them plus 10.5, which comes out to plus 110, or you could take them plus 7.5, plus 120. Some anytime touchdowns I like Kelce anytime, which is minus 135. And if you're a Philly guy, you're going for Philly, I would say either a Hurts anytime, which is minus 115, or AJ Brown anytime, plus 105. Think he's due for one, AJ Brown.
Hurts is minus 115.
Yep.
Do you think? We have a Drake appearance, maybe. We have a lot of options for Mando's Madness best bets. Brian might dabble in his first bet, but this was an awesome episode. We hope everybody enjoys the weekend. We hope everybody has fun, regardless of who you pick.
What are we thinking Gatorade color, real quick?
Oh, I'm going orange. That's my favorite color.
A lot of, I think KC used orange last time they won too.
Gatorade color.
Blue.
He's going
I'm
blue.
going red.
I'm going
Brian,
icy
what about
blue.
you?
Ice blue.
Ice blue.
Okay, let's go around with quick final score and winner predictions. Greg, you can start it off.
Ooh, final score. I have a 28-27 awesome game that Philly sneaks away with by 1 point and the over.
So we're very close on our calls because I have mine written down. Brian, what do you think?
I think the quarterback is gonna win this game, Patty Mahomes. I think it's gonna be 31-25.
Patty.
I think all three of us have a close final score. I got Eagles coming away with a late field goal in the fourth quarter to put them ahead, 29-27, and the Eagles going on to win the Super Bowl. Shay, what do you got?
31-27, Chiefs.
Brian, you're
I like
going
it, Shay. I like it, Shay. You're with me.
Last thing before we wrap it up. Going into this game, I think there's one person under the most pressure, and it's not even an actual player. It's the coach on the KC, Andy Reid. 1-2 in Super Bowls. If he wins this, he'll be 2-2. If he loses, though, he'll be 1-3. And he has a lot of AFC championship losses. And when he was a Philly coach, he had a lot of NFC championship losses. So I think he is under a lot of pressure in this game. Media might not say because the guy's a Hall of Fame coach.
a huge Andy Reid fan. Huge.
There's nothing to say bad about the guy, but I think he needs to get it to 2-2.
We hope everybody enjoyed their week here. I know we did on the potty. We hope everybody tunes in. Have a great weekend and enjoy.
I can't talk right now. I'm on the potty.